Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, as you can see, I got this burly looking dumbbell here. This is a circus dumbbell that's loadable with plates. I'm going to be doing that today. It's a really fun movement to do. I love doing this kind of movement. Maybe it doesn't carry much into overall strength. Like, I don't think this is going to make you better at compound lifts such as bench press, back squat, or deadlift. But this is definitely a functional movement if I had to give it some kind of category. Another functional movement I'm going to be doing is that sled back there. I'm going to combine it with this in giant set format. So we're going to get started right now. Let's pop in and see what we got going on. So for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be working up to a 1 rep max on both my right and my left arm on the Circus Dumbbell. And typically, you don't have to get good with both hands. This is like throwing a baseball or throwing a football where you use your dominant hand mostly in competitions. But I like to keep it the same just to kind of make sure that I'm matching strength on both sides and I don't have an offset in strength, at least as closely as I can. But this movement, if you're trying to use your offhand, is like trying to throw a baseball or a football with your offhand. It's not very good, but if you practice long enough, you can become at least pretty decent with it if you need to use it in a bind. And as I'm going up in weight on the Circus Dumbbell, I'm also going to be pulling that sled. I'm going to drag it one way by doing a lat pull, where I really just try to explosively move my lats like this, just to kind of build that athletic explosiveness. And then once I reach the end of the bullpen, then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to backwards drag it, because that's just a very common movement that humans have to do when it comes to functional strength. And that's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now, you've probably heard that term functional fitness, and that's kind of a loose term, and I actually get kind of angry because people don't really know what that means, or they try to use that word to try to justify what they're doing in their training, even if it's a little unconventional. It's been proven time and time over again that if you want to get strong, doing compound movements with the barbell, such as back squats, bench press, and deadlift, and the overhead press, is how people really get strong. Barbells were designed to be lifted and to overload the maximum amount of weight. It's a lot easier to press a barbell overhead with like 135 pounds than it is to pick up a stone and press it overhead, because that stone is going to move, it's going to wobble, it's not going to be the same weight distribution on all sides. So you're not going to get a nice even press as you would on a barbell, which is made to be lifted. So if you want to get strong, definitely do the compound movements. However, when it comes to functional fitness, that to me means when you're in a bind, like you're in a fight, or one of your friends go man down and you need to drag them out of a burning building. Or if a buddy calls you and says, hey, I need to lift this couch and get it down some windy stairs. Or you and your buddy are just joking around and you're trying to push each other back and forth to see who can get each other off balance. That's what I consider to be functional strength. And I believe Strongman movements are the ultimate functional fitness movements when it comes to overloading it. Have I ever needed to pick something up and then press it over my head with one hand? Absolutely. It comes across a lot. Even if you have like a small child, grabbing them with one hand and then picking them up with one hand overhead, that child's just going to absolutely love it. Or if I've ever had to move, carry, or drag a body before, in my line of work, I actually have had to do that. It's a lot easier when you can lift a lot heavier things like a sled that weighs 400 pounds. It's much easier to move a body that weighs 200 pounds. So combining all of these quote-unquote functional movements together in a workout is not a bad thing. In my opinion, it's one of the best workouts you could ever get. Now, the truth is, I haven't done Circus Dumbbell press in a minute, so I didn't really know where I was at, but I have been doing a lot of shoulder exercises, so I thought maybe this might be my top set for the day. I didn't know how fast it was going to go. It went really well on the right hand, and I've hit 120 before on my left hand before, as you've seen in the past, including when I've mixed it with deadlift even. So I didn't know how fast this was going to go up, but I was actually surprised. The left arm went faster than the right arm, which kind of told me I was ready to move up in weight on the loadable Circus Dumbbell, because I wanted to do the monster dumbbell because it's a lot harder to lift because of how it's built and how it's designed. The Circus Dumbbell that's loadable, you can kind of rest your wrist, if you have a good wrist wrap, on your wrist, and it can dig in and you won't feel a thing, and it actually helps with the press. So I decided to do 130. 130 pounds I've done before with my right hand. And the thing about me is I don't typically like to go up in weight unless both hands have achieved the same weight. So I knew I was going to be able to hit it with the right hand, obviously. It's the hand I use the most. But the question is, will I be able to lift this for the first time with my left hand? So I decided to give it a shot because obviously the left hand moved better than the right on 120. And again, it went super smooth, super fast. And I was super proud of that. But then the thing was, I couldn't go up in weight because I don't have any more little weights because I'm poor. I looked around my gym and I didn't have any small weights. So I was like, dang it, I can't even go up in weight to see if I can hit 135 or 140. So I was pissed. So what I decided to do instead was, now I'm going to try to lift the monster dumbbell because it's a lot harder to lift than the normal circus dumbbell because there's no place to put your wrist. That handle is a lot thicker too than the circus dumbbell. So now this is with the left hand. And right when I got to my shoulder, I could tell that my left shoulder was actually really fatigued from doing that 130-pound circus dumbbell press. So it took me a minute to try to stabilize it. Almost fell over there. It was on one leg. But I did a pose because I nailed it. Now for the secondary lift that I'm going to do to help me get better at the circus dumbbell, I'm going to be doing what's called a circus dumbbell waiter's walk. Essentially, all I'm going to do is just walk down to the end of the bullpen with the dumbbell above my head, and then I'm going to spin around and then walk it back with the other arm. This is just a great exercise to do to not only build shoulder stability, but to increase that lockout strength at the top of the movement. It also destroys your obliques as well. Then I'm going to switch over to a strongman style sled pull. This is common in strongman competitions where you just have to pull the weight towards you in this manner, which is great for the back, but it also works your obliques as well. And then I'm just going to ox drag it back because that's a very lightweight, and the ox drag is probably my strongest sled movement that I could do. The reason why I'm doing that is because for the assistance giant set, now I'm going to do a max ox drag with it. I didn't want to go too heavy this time because normally I try to work up to 400 pounds typically, which is a grind for me. But I'm pretty tired from the deadlifts I did last time. So now I just kind of want to do 300 pounds and just work with that weight today because I didn't want to burn myself out completely. And moving 300 pounds is pretty good on a sled. And as I was going up in weight on those 2 rounds, I was doing 15 Arnold presses in between with the kettlebells. This is just a great exercise to build the mass and size of your shoulders. I always get compliments on my shoulders, and it's really because of this movement right here. It doesn't necessarily build strength, but it really builds the size. Arnold Schwarzenegger invented it, and he had wonderful shoulders, as we know. Now, for the accessory giant set, I was just trying to finish off everything that I've worked. So I'm doing like a tricep push-ups, what I call it. I just basically make a diamond with my fingers. I put my chest in there, and I end up really targeting my triceps and really getting a good burnout on the triceps. But also my chest is getting a workout in the same aspect. And then I would move over to the side delt raises, which is one of my favorite exercises to do as an accessory movement to really finish off my shoulders at the bottom part of the shoulder. And then I would gingerly walk over and then do my face pulls because you know me, I got to always do face pulls. Seriously, every time that I do face pulls or hitchhikers, I do not get shoulder impingements. So I really swear by this exercise. If you're facing shoulder impingements, add this exercise to your pressing days. All right, so we finished the workout and I'm still alive. So that's progress. I really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I will see you next time. Thank you.